Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program where anything is up for discussion. You got me, Jeff, alongside the lovely Shannon. Shannon is here.
Alive.
Hello, Shannon.
Alive and well.
Alive and well.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I will say that you were nothing less than an absolute warrior last week.
Warrior.
Not only, did you have surgery on the ankle that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but what do we have, tornado warnings and thunderstorms?
That was all the same day.
All this stuff was the same day, yet you pulled it off, kid.
I wasn't caring about the tornado warnings that night. No.
You didn't care about much, did you? So
they were the last thing on my mind.
How is the ankle doing?
Ankle's fine. I mean, there's a gash in it. I've got some healing ahead of me, and I'm in moderate pain, not so severe.
Okay.
And it's all good. It was a very minor procedure, very routine. Not worried, nothing, no tumors, no cancer, just a benign tumor.
And as all friends and family have wished you, the meds are going well? Everything's good?
No
with
more
the
meds.
No more meds. Okay, off the meds.
Well,
were they enjoyable at least for a period of time?
Tried to go back to work today and thought I might have to go back on the meds. So,
yeah, that's right. First day.
I have a lot of the meds left. The Percocet, I keep watching these news segments on TV about the opioid crisis.
Yeah, no, they are not for sale. Do not email
feel
us,
like
people.
a criminal just for using the 30 they gave me.
Yeah, really.
So I'm trying to hoard them for a rainy day, and today was a rainy day. Everybody. It's just a tough problem. I almost thought for the first couple of days that I was going to have to call the doctor for more medication, but then it just really plateaued and then took a nosedive. So we're good. We're good. Everything's fine.
All right.
I'm trying to get back into normal life, so it's good to be in the studio tonight, actually, because last week we failfully tried to broadcast from my bed. I couldn't find a comfortable position for the life of me the night of my surgery.
You did fine, though. Folks that were watching, they probably didn't know the difference, for at least the first time.
Honest to God, I had a nerve block. It was not my ankle bothering me that night at all. It was my back. I was trying to sit up straight on the bed, and then that was killing me. So then I tried to lay down, and then I had issues, and it was everything but the ankle. That wore off at 4:45 a.m. the next day.
Oh, yeah. And once the nerve block wears off, life changes.
Shannon reached for the Percocet bottle at 4:45. Okay. But no, it's all good. I'm fine. You guys are going to see me hobbling around town for the next 2 weeks until September in a walking cast that looks like the biggest ski boot you've ever seen in your entire life.
It does. That's exactly what it looks like.
Hurts me like hell, and it's heavy. I hate it, and it's ugly, and I have to coordinate my outfits in order to get around town now. So if you see it, just act like you're not noticing it, please. And be nice to me. Just don't look down and be like, oh, how'd the surgery go? I don't want to talk about it. So it's all good. Just ignore me.
So that's really only half the story. The other half of the story is in the midst of all this, you're totally expanding your business. You're doubling it in size, and you've got a major construction project.
I guess that all started today, huh?
It did.
Unbeknownst to me, they're knocking down walls in my business today. So I need medication today for my heart because it's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
But
so joining the pain medication is now the blood pressure medication for Shannon, right?
Normally people remove items off walls and things off shelves when they know that the construction is starting. So preparation is key. But however, life goes on, and we'll get through everything. Shan Cakes is doubling its size as of today. We're going from 1,200 to 2,400 square feet, and I have 2 addresses now. I didn't ever think about that for 1 second.
That's true.
I am now 366 and 368 Central Street, so that might be an issue on MapQuest and Google Maps. I've got some updating. You laugh, but you don't understand how much work I have to do for this expansion. I now have to worry about the internet crap so people can find me.
I know.
So it's just like.
So you're taking over the whole street. You're like the Donald Trump of bakeries here in Leominster now, right? That's what it is.
I am not orange, and this is not a hairpiece. Clearly, nothing fake here at all. It's funny, this whole expansion thing. But you know what? I had options to check out other real estate in Leominster. There isn't any, and the exposure on Central Street is incredible.
It is.
What a
really is.
Beautiful location right there. I mean, it's perfect.
So for those of you who are just joining us, my co-host here and my little lovely Shannon is the owner, founder, and the Shan of Shan Cakes, which I refer to as the confectionery crack in town. And they are a huge supporter of the show.
It's
we want
actually
to
been said, yeah.
thank them for sponsoring us and being a huge part of what we do. It makes us huge, right, in a physical sense. Anytime I walk through that place and not eat like 14 things, it is a major moral victory for me, as I always say. But if you want to find out more, you can call them today at 978-840-4343 or visit them online at shancakes.com.
Yeah, we're open 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's right.
Shancakes.com, online, anything you guys need. We are a fresh made to order bakery. I have to say, there's probably not another one like us, 3 or 4 hour radius. There's nobody that is a fresh made to order bakery.
Really, the closest thing to you, and everybody I've talked to compares it to anything like, you have to go to Boston. I mean, if you're going to go to Boston and you're going to get,
they might not be fresh made
the
to
upper
order.
end, if you want to spend $38 for a cannoli and drive yourself, halfway across Hell's Creation, you can go to Boston, you can go to Mike's and Modern and get the cannolis. But I will tell you, I have checked, Shannon, with some very reliable sources, those that have frequented the finest places in Boston, Mike's and Modern, and also been to Italy itself, and they will swear up and down that your cannolis and lobster tails and anything of the sort can hang and compare with those guys. And that's a huge undertaking to hang with those guys.
Yeah. It's a huge undertaking. We've been compared, our cannolis have been compared to Mike's Pastries. Actually got pretty good reviews. That's a huge compliment for me.
You're keeping good company, my dear.
And we're going to get back to, all the homemade shells again real soon. The kitchen, we're doubling the size of everything, guys. So just be patient with us. We are going to be open our regular hours. Everything is fine.
Okay.
This construction won't bother us a thing, but we're going to have a ton of new services that we're adding.
Can you give us a little? I know you can't say very much. I know you're keeping it under wraps.
I'm still consulting with my folks.
There's a certain competitor in town that likes to steal all of your ideas and do everything you do. So we're giving this a little bit of TV time here, but we don't want to give away too much because we want to just hit the world with it.
We are expanding the size of our classroom to accommodate up to 30 adults, guys. That's like 40 kids.
Is it really there's that many people that want to come and decorate cakes and stuff?
We do a lot with organizations. Organizations, yes. Companies and organizations are our biggest clientele. Of course, we have the private parties.
What kind of organizations do you have?
For instance, one of them is Diamond is the Sky Autism. Okay. They've been our client since last year.
Awesome.
Huge client of ours. They send us autistic children anywhere from the ages of 7 to 15 years old.
Okay.
Teach them how to decorate their cakes, their cupcakes. We have programs with them where they follow a format. It has been so successful. It is the organization out of Worcester. It is their number one booked solid activity. Every time they post an event, within 10 minutes it's sold out. So if it wasn't for you guys over at Diamond is the Sky, this would not be happening, because the one thing I wanted to do was fit more kids in that room for you guys so that you didn't have that waiting list. And in comes the idea of expanding and renting out the whole other business next door. So I have to thank Sean Daly for that, who's unaware that I'm even talking about him right now. But it's been a blessing, and we love working with those children. It has been more therapy for us than them.
That is so cool that you can help organizations like that, because that stuff is so important. I mean, you can only go bowling so many times. You know what I mean?
You can only decorate a cake so many times. I mean, a lot of these kids come every time. But you know what? That's why we keep it fresh. We do different programs. Now we're going to have an AP advanced class for the autistic children, and we're going to have a beginner class. We're going to be able to run 2 at the same time.
All right.
So that's one of the things that we're going to expand on, as well as a much bigger kitchen for us. We're going to have a design studio and a baking studio, which is new for us, because we've always been doing everything out of the same place.
Sure.
You know what? Things get dirty. We don't want that anymore. So the other side is where I'm going to be, the design studio. I'm not baking anymore. I'm done.
You got people to do your
And,
baking.
the lobby is going to be doubling in size, and we're going to be adding a lot of services, guys. Your number one request, some seating and some food items. So we're going to expand our permits, and and there's some exciting features coming. There's 2 I can't tell you about just yet.
Okay, all right.
So it'll be announced in the next couple of weeks. I believe September 1st will be probably our deadline to get everything done.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a couple times till then.
What we can tell you, right, and I'm sure you'll stop me if I say too much, but what we can tell you is there's absolutely nothing like this anywhere that you'll be able to find like you can find at Shancake's coming up really soon, right? I've never seen anything
fresh made to order. You can order one of our 40 cake flavors same day. Call us in the morning. That cake is ready by the afternoon. That's unheard of. Any shape or size you want. Do not have a commercial freezer. We do not freeze our cakes. It's baked fresh for you. You can tell the difference the second you bite into that cake. Wow. So that does set us apart from everybody else. We're very proud of that, and that's something that we are going to stick to and something that has been doing well for us.
And also, what I was also alluding to is something that you're going to be offering at Shancake's that we can't talk about yet. But what I can say is that there's absolutely nothing else like it anywhere. We've traveled the world.
We've pulled places,
right?
and we've
you and I, we've traveled the world.
Yeah,
we've been all over this great nation, all over the world, and there is no place anywhere in the highest all-inclusive areas that we've gone have I ever seen anything like you're going to come up with.
Okay.
So this is going to be huge.
I haven't seen any either, so I hope it works.
Yeah, I do too.
According to people, it will. It
Okay.
will. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You know what? If it doesn't work, moving on to the next project. But it's going to work. We're good.
All right. We want to thank everybody that makes this show possible. Again, we want to thank Shancake's down there in Central Street. You can find out more by calling them at 840-4343 or visiting them online at shancakes.com. And, of course, our very first and oldest sponsor, Lemonster Storage Solutions, right across the street, Shannon, and ironically, also expanding their business. There's a lot of expanding businesses going there on Central Street.
As we speak.
In that neighborhood. And the cool thing about that, guys, is that anybody that does storage in town here or lives in New England knows that winters are tough and tough on your vehicles, and a lot of times you're looking for a place to store that vehicle for the winter, and it's crazy because you talk to people over around in other parts of the country and they say, what do you mean you have to own 2 cars? You got to put your car away in the winter. Well, they just don't understand. You got your baby, your convertible, your bike, whatever it is, and these guys are now building out so that they can have the concrete floors to be able to accommodate things like that, whereas before they were in the old Tucker warehouse building and it was just the wooden floors, so you couldn't bring any vehicles there. So that's the reason for the expansion. And, of course, you can find out more about them by calling them at 466-8887 or visiting them online at lemonstorestorage.com. Now, I also want to welcome a brand new sponsor to the show, Sterling Greenery, out there in Sterling. We want to welcome them. They're doing a great job. 3-year guarantee on plants. I've never even heard of that before.
I don't even have a 3-day guarantee.
You can find out more from them by visiting them online at sterlinggreenery.com. And last but not least, our friends out there in Oregon, as they say it, Oregon, G-U-N.
They say Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon. It's not Oregon. It's Oregon. Oregon. It's like
almost like Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon with a little syllable in there.
Right in.
Okay, yeah, there you go. SasquatchCoffee.com. SquatchCoffee.com is where you can find out everything about them and find them on Facebook as well. And I will tell you that my mornings start every day with a cup of Sasquatch coffee. Absolutely. Never have it any other way.
There's an abundance of it here.
We also want to thank you guys watching around the world on your handheld mobile devices and your tablets, your iPhones, your cell phones, and your computers, and also watching on the mothership. And everybody over there we want to thank at LATV for the great job that they do. Carl and Tina, Jack, Jane, and Robert, without their support, we certainly couldn't be doing what we're doing. So we want to thank them as well. Now, one thing we always want to mention, Shannon, is that we're free. We're always free to watch. We always will be free to watch. We will never charge anybody here at the network for watching this show or any of the other great shows here. And this is a little bit more than a radio show. This is a little bit more than a TV show. This is something that is kind of brand new. It's interactive. And what we do is we allow you to interact with us not only by calling like you would on a traditional radio station, but also in a live chat room, which makes it pretty cool because not only can you interact with us, and half the times the conversations have nothing to do with what we're talking about. You can meet people from around the world and chat with them, and you can also interact with our guest. And our guest tonight, Shannon, is a 30-year-plus veteran in major television, 42 years in weather and major television. And this one's going to be a fun one tonight because not only is he like meteorologist god type guy, but he's also a whole lot of fun. And I want to welcome our friend from Newton, Massachusetts, right outside of Boston, Mark Rosenthal. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
How are you guys?
Hi.
We are doing well, my friend. How's things up in your world?
Well, it's pretty crazy up here. It's just it's like my phone's ringing, and you don't mind if I take this call for a second, do you?
No way. No way. Is he serious?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's taking a call. We're going to let him take the call. Okay.
Doesn't his
I get all
shit
kinds
not
of people
stink,
like
huh?
this. I'm good.
Big celebrity here, guys. Big celebrity. Just
Well, Mark,
pick your priorities.
we're really, really happy to have you. We've been talking about having you on for a while. But before I introduce you as a meteorologist and a weatherman, there have been some sightings around the Boston area. And at first I thought that the pictures I was getting were Sammy Hagar, but it's come to find out that that's you. You're doing a little rock and roll.
Much cuter. And you don't make tequila, though.
Yeah. Well, a little rock and roll going on in your life right now, huh?
For y'all. But before we get into all that, I got to say that Shannon's an awesome baker. She baked me my birthday cake, and it was awesome. I really I enjoyed it a lot. I thought she did a great job.
Thank you.
Oh,
I did have some of it. I did because I want to make sure the quality control is there. Thank you very much. And what a fabulous birthday party!
You got a lot of talent. So all those folks that want to sort of know about your product, you got to go down to your place and check it out. And you have a website too, don't you?
Of course I do, Mark.
You do.
What's your website?
Shancakes.com. What else?
Okay, well, a lot of people don't know about this.
We've been talking about it for the past 15 minutes, but
Well,
we love
maybe
you.
we have some new people tonight. They want to know about this.
That's right.
It's all good. I'll throw it out in the chat. You're a trooper. Thank you. Jeff, somebody just beat me.
There we go.
That never happens.
We definitely want to say hello to everybody watching around in the chat room and also participating in the conversation. And thank you for putting in the Shancakes URL. We certainly appreciate that. And any questions that you guys have, you can chime in your chat room here and hit us up. You can hit up Shannon. She'll be able to pass forward the questions here to Mark. Or you can also call us at 323-902-6661. We're going to open up the phone lines here in just a little bit, and you can talk with Mark, ask him some questions about his days in meteorology and also now in rock and roll. So how did the transition go from being the big weather guy and being on TV? Now you're touring Boston. You have a following. You got people that are like cheering for you when you're singing, and you're bringing it from the rafters. When I see you sing, man, you bring it.
Well, that's right. I mean, you guys got to see it firsthand. You were at one of the parties that we sang at, and it was pretty crazy. Shannon, little Shancakes got up and sang.
I had some wine.
She did.
I did. I had some wine. I'm not gonna lie. Your friends who own the liquor store, as innocent as they look.
Well, my good friend Joanne Mills, who is a host of karaoke in Boston, her husband and herself, Jethro. So it's Joanne and Jethro Mills. You can check them out sometime on Facebook if you Facebook or if you Facebook Joanne Mills, you'll see them. But she's an awesome singer, and she came back. Mark, who is that woman that got up and sing? And she said, your friend that made you that cake.
Come
She said, Shannon Sylvia. She said she's got a great voice.
Are you serious? Because she is friggin' awesome. Like, honest to God, the second you said she put out a record, I was like, no kidding. Because she is a little, tiny, power-packed voice. Oh, yeah. That lady. Everything she sang was so on.
Yeah, she used to be a professional singer, and she still is. I'm trying to get her to come out of her shell. She's great.
She doesn't need help getting
in the whole group.
She's got a great personality. Jeff and you and I were talking about how damn good she was.
Yeah.
You go to parties all the time or testimonials or weddings, and the DJ gets up there and they start singing their own songs. I get annoyed by that usually. Every time she got up there, I was enthralled. Like, people enjoy hearing her. She's good.
She's got a great voice.
She blew everybody else away.
I can't believe you're lying to me right now, telling me she liked my voice. That's amazing.
I'm not lying.
Mark, we sang that Queen song. What was it, Jeff?
The one that we always sing. It's the same one that everybody sings.
I'm just a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche. Yeah, we were pissed drunk, and there was not much talent involved. So she's a sweetheart.
Well,
we had a lot of fun. You guys were great, so it was a fun time here by all. So anyway, to get back to the story, so I'm doing that. I'm doing weather, and this is actually it's hard to believe my 42nd year doing weather.
Wow.
And, I was on TV for 30 years, and it was fun. And now I'm doing a lot of radio, and at my website, weatherblast.com, I come out with all different shirts lately. My wife, Marcia's a seamstress, and she makes me all these interesting rock and roll shirts. She sits down at the sewing machine. She goes, who do you want to be tonight? I said, I don't know.
Nice. Well, again, 42 years in weather, and for you, it started at an early age, and I know the story, but for those that are maybe just joining us, Mark Rosenthal, weather meteorologist, legendary meteorologist from WCVB Channel 5.
You really are.
And amongst all of us as well. And, cool. It looks like we got a call coming in. Maybe we can take a call from Mark.
Stalker.
All right, you got to turn your computer down. You're on with Jeff and Shannon. What do you got?
Hey, Jeff, it's Steven. How are you?
Hey, Steven, calling from the Carolinas. How are you?
Hey, thanks for that, buddy. You know, the whole witness relocation program's there for a purpose.
Hey, we like to take care of our own here. That's why we'll just say Carolina. We won't say north or south. We won't give a specific location. But we have a 42-year meteorologist on, 30 years on Channel 5. And Mark Rosenthal is now singing his brains out from the rafters, doing karaoke around Boston. And I know you're a music guy, too. What do you got for Mark?
Well, with hair like that, I certainly hope he is doing that. But I guess my question for Mark is your favorite song to perform Rock You Like a Hurricane?
What's your favorite song to perform? Is it Rock You Like a Hurricane, you said? But we know the answer.
I'm sorry. Is it rock? No, I do a lot of Stones songs. I like the Stones and I like the Beatles. I'm an old-timer, old-fashioned kind of guy. But I'm trying to do some new stuff. We've done some Bee Gees and Neil Diamond and Cat Stevens and a whole bunch of people. But I'm trying to branch out. I get so stuck in what I like to do. People say, why don't you do more? Why don't you do the Who? Or why don't you do Zeppelin? You look like the guy in Zeppelin.
That means nothing.
Robert Plant.
They have their own fantasies about what they want to
do. I will say watching you do karaoke is different than watching everybody else, because most of the people that are doing karaoke are like, really afraid to sing, but I'm going to try it, so here I am getting up. You already have a stage presence. You involve your audience. You go around, you hug people, you put your arms around people. It's unbelievable what you do at karaoke, Mark.
I think it's always important to engage people. It's fun. You want to be interactive with people and make them feel good and have fun with them while you're singing. And, I was like that when I was doing the weather. I'm just who I am. I'm nothing special, but...
You're special.
I just like I want to tell you something I did not have an improper relationship with that woman. No, seriously. I just like engaging people.
Oh, my God. Now that he just did that, if you did put a different hairpiece on him, he could have really pulled that off. Oh, my God. I have goosebumps.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Steven, how's things down there in the Carolinas?
Warm.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great. We always appreciate you calling in. You got any more questions for Mark?
Is he? I don't know if I missed it already, but is Mark gonna is he gonna form a band, or is he just gonna stick to the karaoke thing?
Yeah, a calling for a band, maybe stadium tours in the future.
Ernie Bach, why didn't you join right in?
Yeah. You're an Ernie Bach, and the guys from Boston can do the thing, right?
Silly, there's a very good friend of mine who sings karaoke with me, my friend Arnie Cerveas, who used to be backup singer for Steven Tyler. And
That's right. He was at the...
he was excellent. Oh, my God.
You saw Arnie. He was
great. Yeah.
He still has a band. They were at a place called Terry O'Reilly's in Newton a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to be back probably in October or November at Terry O'Reilly's in Newton Center. So you should check that out, because Arnie's great. His band is good. It's just a lot of fun. We had a ton of fun with him.
Are you going to sing with him?
I did get up and sing with him that night 2 weeks ago. I said, I want to do a song with you. He said, all right, come on up. So we did something simple like Satisfaction, and it's great. And we both sang together. Arnie can go up really high, so I try to match him a little bit. It was pretty interesting.
That's awesome. Steven, so thank you so much for calling in, buddy. We always appreciate hearing from you.
No problem, guys. You all rock on.
All right, my man.
Bye, Steven.
Later.
All right, we've got a call from 781. 781, you're on with Jeff and Shannon. What do you got? Oh, I think we just lost him. Let's try this one. Hello, you're on with Jeff and Shannon. What do you got?
Hey, Jeff and Shannon. This is Mike in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, thanks
Mark
for calling.
Rosenthal.
Oh, my God.
Hey.
Great people from all over. Hi.
Thanks for calling tonight, Mike. You got Mark on here, too. What do you have?
Mark?
Yes.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
So I got to tell you, I met Mark about 20 years ago, and Mark was probably one of the first people I ever met in the broadcasting industry. He led a curious 13-year-old into Channel 5, years ago. And 20 years later, because he let me in the door and I met a bunch of people, I'm now directing down in Atlanta, Georgia. Mark is a class act, great guy, one of the funniest people I've ever met. Just all around genuine person, and you guys are lucky to have him on your show tonight. He's pretty cool guy.
Nice.
And I just want to make sure that, Mark, you have the address for the check that you're sending to him for this?
I'm not sure.
Sponsored ad.
In the last 2 digits.
We'll get all that off the air from you. Thanks.
Very nice of you to say. I appreciate that.
So what's Mike doing now?
Yeah, what are you doing now, Mike, down there?
Mikey, hold on. Though. Mike started with me when he was an intern.
Okay.
Right. He was into weather before he got into, the whole production thing. And he really loved the weather. And we used to hang around Channel 5 with me and, we used to do weather. And I used to go on the air and he was watching. But then, I would bring him into the control room before I'd go on the air so he could see the weather being done like in a production way versus just being in the studio. And he sort of changed his head and said, no, I don't really want to do weather. I want to do production. And he became awesome. He went to school for it. He put himself through school. He did a lot of hard work. He got himself a job. And he's done awesome. I'm really proud of him. We talk on Facebook. And I think he came to me when he was like a teenager. Now he's all grown up, and it blows me away. It shows me how old I'm getting.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So,
yeah, Mark was he was awesome. He just a really good guy, funny guy, and I mean he did not have to bring some young teenager in and give this person the tour of the building, but he did, and I fell in love with the business, and I really enjoy what I do to this day, and it's all thanks to him. He's a class act. Doesn't get much better than him.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
Good to see him on your show.
That's awesome.
Mike,
That's awesome.
good to talk to you, man. Hope all's well in Atlanta.
It is, Marky. When I get home over the holidays, we'll definitely meet up and grab lunch or dinner or whatever.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see you.
All right, man. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
No
for
Problem.
calling.
Good luck out there.
All right, thanks. See you later.
You bet.
Something, I mean, there were so many people when I was at Channel 5 for all those years. There was a lot of kids that loved weather, and they wanted to come down. And I'd let everybody come down because when I was a kid, I never really had that chance. I used to watch Don Kent for years. And, of course, I watched Bob Copeland when I was 8 years old.
Oh, yeah.
He's retired now. He was at my party. And, I told you when I got to be like, 16, I went down to see him and I asked him for a job and he gave me a job. But for me, it was great because I got to work with somebody that I watched for so many years and I get to be in a place where I really wanted to be. And I like helping people and I wanted to help everybody that I could when I was on the air who was really into it.
And that's really cool because I can see that about you because I've heard you tell stories about you as a young guy going into
he was that
the
guy.
station and being able to practice with the pros and getting a little heads up here and there to help you along and getting you to come out of your shell kind of thing, and it's all part of the development, and you're definitely a guy that gives back. I mean, you see this up and comers and you're not afraid to get involved and even with guys like me. I mean, you and I have worked together on a couple of things, and your experience and your knowledge is so great to be around, and your energy it hasn't let up one bit in all these years.
Oh, but it's great to work with people like you because you're smart and you get it and you've got a passion for it and you're so talented. So for me, I am learning from you.
All right. I'll send Mike the check.
We need
on
a
your
garage
behalf.
to get that.
You and I are
Sylvia head
square. I'll send Mike the check. We're all good.
This is very smarty, but it's really how I feel. I mean, I've met in my 42 years in the media all kinds of people. A lot of them are not real. Some of them are not nice. So when I meet somebody nice like you and Shannon, to me, I love that.
Awesome. All right, guys, the number to call in is 323-902-6661 if you want to be part of the conversation. And somebody that takes full advantage of that on a weekly basis is our guy JT here locally in Leominster. It's time to find out
What's JT thinking?
What JT thinks.
Hello, Jeff and Shannon. JT from L.A. That's right, Shannon, the Leominster area. Well, Jeff and Shannon, there's been a lot of celebrity breakups this year. Started with Sean Penn and Charlize Theron.
That's right.
They split up.
That's right.
Now it's Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. They just split up. But the biggest celebrity breakup of this year has got to be Miss Piggy and Kermit the Frog.
No kidding.
I knew
They
he
were
was
together about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Rumor has it that Miss Piggy was having a very hard time permitting. Did you get that, Shannon? She was having a hard time permitting.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Coming for a cannoli, JT.
You know, if Miss Piggy and Kermit can't make it, there isn't any hope for any of us. I'm telling you, it just takes everything out of it for me. I mean,
why do puppets have to break up?
What do you think the kids are thinking about that?
Why do puppets have to break up? Is there not enough drama on TV as it is for children these days? Now we have to have drama with puppets.
I know. You know, we've talked about everything but weather so far, so we might as well keep going with it. But I want to hear Mark's take on the latest here with Brady. Tom Brady now is getting involved with everything. The poor guy is getting dragged through the mud for everything from deflating a football. Now they're even hooking his name into the whole nanny thing with Ben Affleck.
Really?
Ben Affleck is banging the nanny.
I thought she was in hiding.
He's too straight for that. He wouldn't do that. But something. It's interesting because they're in court tomorrow.
That's right. Big day.
So sad.
The judge said, listen, he said, before you come into this courtroom, I really want you folks to work this out.
Yeah.
So when you come upon me tomorrow afternoon, whenever they're supposed to meet, I want to hear some verbiage that there was some kind of interaction, not that you're stuck in your position. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any movement. I would think there's not going to be a lot of movement because I think Goodell is still hurting from past experiences, and I think he wants to use Brady as a potential strength piece, as an example to say, well, I'm a lot tougher now than I was before. And he doesn't have all the facts. So the problem is he has like a case that doesn't have a lot of bite to it. So my sense is if this went to court, that Goodell's going to lose.
I agree. I predicted it a week ago that I think this whole thing could come to a very quick screeching halt as early as tomorrow because, in the court of law, and what they're trying, of course, as you know, is not the whole incident itself, but the whole procedure. And this is a team violation with absolutely the precedence that was set for this team violation is $25,000 fine. Never has a player been called out. Never has an owner been called out. Never has a team paid anywhere close to $1 million and lost 2 draft picks. You know, we all know the stories about San Diego a couple of years ago with the Stickum, and we also know about the latest. Going on with the St. Louis Cardinals of all people. I mean, you have the St. Louis Cardinals that are hacking into the Houston Astros database, which is actually a federal offense. I don't want to hear another damn thing about deflated football. So I personally think, Mark, this whole thing's coming to a head tomorrow.
They don't have any concrete evidence. They don't have the sense that somebody, this was like premeditated. That somebody said, we're going to orchestrate this thing. We need this game. We have to win this game. So what we're going to do, because we know the weather's going to be wet, we'll deflate the football so Brady can get a better sense of it. So, something say that they even did that. I don't believe they did. It would also, or should have worked in the other team's favor as well.
That's
if
right.
the ball was wet and it didn't have that much air in it, then they should have been able to come back and nail it.
And for the same conversation, somebody's got to catch it. I mean, it's like Giselle said when they lost the Super Bowl to the Giants with the perfect 18-0 season. My husband can only throw it. Somebody's got to catch it. Where's that argument now? It's kind of gone. We got another phone call. You're on with Jeff and Shannon and Mark Rosenthal. What do you have?
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. You're on with Jeff and Shannon.
Oh, I'm seeing if Mark Rosenthal remembers his voice. Happy belated birthday, Mr. Rosenthal, the nose. Does he remember who this is?
In California.
Come on,
there you
Mark.
go. What's up?
Are you calling from California?
Stephen used to be involved in weather with us at Channel 5 for many years.
Nice.
He was with us, I think back in the 80s. We had a lot of fun.
I knew Mark in 1977.
Wow! So you knew the hair, the beard, the whole
the hair, the beard, and the Cat Stevens look.
The Cat Stevens. That's a very, very good description.
Wait a minute. Before or after he left the country?
He actually really. Sometimes we couldn't tell whether it was Cat Stevens or Mark Rosenthal.
Well, there's only,
Channel 5.
as Shannon so eloquently pointed out here, there's only one of them that's still in the country. So.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah. He's a
Mark
traitor.
looks a little better than today's Cat Stevens. I saw Cat
Funny,
Stevens
when I was 24
a few
years
months
old,
ago
my
here in
wife
L.A.
made
He does,
a
doesn't he?
surprise for me at Stevens' house, just outside of Boston. And I was totally surprised. And there was a lot of weather people that got thrown in the pool that night. So it was pretty funny.
Oh, one of those deals, huh?
Can I go back a long, long time? I worked at Channel 5 off and on for a period of 7 or 8 years in the
Wow.
weather, in the weather office with Mark and Dick Albert and Bob Copeland and
Nice.
a bunch of other people. It was great times back then.
Very
Wow.
cool. Very cool. Stephen, I'm going to ask you a question because you were in media with Mark and everybody else. How do you feel about today's media when it comes to, the TMZs and all of these stories that come out that maybe not even, checking their sources? Look at what happened in the Brady case there with wrong information. I mean, back in the day when I remember, if you heard something on the news, it was gospel. It was researched. You could count on it. It was solid. It was credible.
So was weather.
I mean, seriously, but how do you feel about today? Do you feel the same way about it?
You're asking me, Steve?
Yeah.
I just think the internet has created a double-edged sword, and it's a feeding frenzy, and it lets people do and say things that they probably normally wouldn't do behind a computer screen, and without any, without any validation or something, and it allows people to have a voice, but I think it gets a little too far. And all this, it's reduced our civilization sometimes, I think, down to its lowest common denominator. And sometimes I prefer for the older days where, let the, old media filter through the good and the bad, and rather than letting everybody else who has a cell phone and or a smartphone, talk about whatever they want, that becomes gospel.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Because today it seems to be a race to get it out. I mean, and Mark can attest to this. I mean, back in the day, if you had a story, it could, it wasn't going on until 5 o'clock. So you had time to check your sources. You had time to research and get multiple sources on the story. Nowadays, it's a race to who can put it out there first on Twitter. And I think a lot of that alludes to the miscommunication and all that. Mark, how do you feel about what I'm saying here?
Well, I think it's interesting. I think he brings up a good point. I think it's really made the TV stations very paranoid because for so many years they were the main source. So now they sort of, in a sense, have to kowtow and at the same time invite all the patrons that have cell phones and media gadgets to sort of join them because they know that that's their competition, that they're not the big wheels anymore, that everybody can break a story with all these media platforms. So they want to invite them into their den. They're still the big chiefs. And yes, send us you photos and this and be part of our team, and you can be the little reporters out on the field. So I think certainly it siphoned a lot of their advertising dollars away. Jeff, as you and I have talked about before, the first tsunami was cable TV. That really came in, took the ad dollars off the table, and then with the advent of the computer and everything going online, that really nailed them. So you see, it's become very polarized.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted. I guess it's passing on Facebook. I saw the link here. I wanted to say hello and give Mark a belated happy birthday. It was his birthday last month, and it looked like he had a great party. Wish I was there, but unfortunately, I'm about 3,000 miles. A little geographically undesirable away from him.
Although the commute is tough, we still have social media. Stephen, thank you so much for calling.
But, I'll see you when I'm back in Boston next month, Mark.
Thanks so much.
Take care.
All right. We're taking your calls tonight at 323-902-6661. We're going to step out and pay some bills, and when we come back, more with meteorologist Mark Rosenthal. Stick around. You're watching Up for Discussion here on PararockTV.com.
Up for Discussion Live is brought to you in part by Lemonster Storage Solutions, Sasquatch Coffee, Mariano's Restaurante.
Up for Discussion with Jeff and Shannon Sylvia. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
And now back to Up for Discussion right here on Pararock TV.
Welcome back to the program where everything is up for discussion. You got me, Jeff, alongside the lovely Shannon. And, of course, joining us tonight is a 30-year on Channel 5 and 42 years overall meteorologist Mark Rosenthal joins us from the Boston area. And just before we split out, we had a call coming in from the 803 area. You're on with Jeff, Shannon, and Mark. What do you have?
Hey, Jeff, it's Old Hip.
Hey, calling from the other Carolinas. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, we're doing fine. It's always good to hear from you. What do you got for our guest, Mark Rosenthal?
Well, I'm calling in because I know that meteorologists are actually a tight-knit bunch here in the nation, nationwide. And my grandfather was a meteorologist in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Really? Never knew that.
From 1955 to 1982.
How cool.
Matter of fact, whenever the Weather Channel first came on, they wanted him to be their meteorologist.
Very cool.
And he said, I retired. I'm already retired. So I wanted to see if possibly Mark had ever heard of Conrad Johnson.
You know, the name sounds familiar. You know, it really does. So he was out in Iowa?
Cedar Rapids. They used to say that if Conrad said it was going to rain, you can hear the windows closing all over town.
Everybody had to...
He was actually responsible for bringing weather radar west of the Mississippi.
Nice.
Very
cool. You know, the name sounds familiar. It really does. You can, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, all the old timers that were on the air before, they were the real deal. Now it's a lot of it's just pretty empty calories. But welcome to the world.
Yeah, I just wanted to drop in and touch base with you, let you know that I had my grandfather was my idol. And so I just wanted to drop in to say hey.
That's awesome, Mike. It's always great to hear from you, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
All right. We got to tell a quick story here, Mark. There is a story that you have shared with me before. And before we were kind of talking about, the time capsule and we just celebrated 100-year time capsule here in Leominster. We dug it up, and we were talking about what we might find back then for weather-related instruments, things like that. You come from a very unique time in weather. The progression in your life, in your craft, in your field, has been nothing short of extraordinary. I mean, I don't think people can really appreciate what you dealt with, back in the day when you did weather. There was no radar. There were no weather fronts.
Well, that's right.
Tell us a little bit about that and how it was different.
Well, something that's an interesting point, Jeff, because people, and of course they don't, so this...
breaking up a little bit.
It's not a detriment. But people don't know the process of what we go through in terms of forecasting the weather. They just see the final product. But, weather's an intricate science. It's always moving. It's always changing. And so we have so many variables to deal with. But with the advent of Doppler radar and, satellite imagery, we can do so much more. We can really understand weather and how things move. And, of course, the computer models are a big help. We have so many computer models now that go out to 10 days and beyond. You can't get too hooked on them. You still have to, sort of be grounded in basic meteorology. And, you try to combine all those elements to come up with a forecast. And that's what we try to do every day. And, of course, we're in a very tough part of the country. The Northeast, we get hit from so many different, directions. And we have 4 distinct seasons. So you have to really be on guard in all seasons.
Sure. I've interviewed you a couple times already, and I've never asked, but I was kind of driving around thinking about this today. What was your most extraordinary weather event to cover? Because as you just alluded to, there have been so many.
Blizzard of 78.
Does one stick out?
I think 2 of them. I think certainly the first time that I was on TV was the week after the Blizzard of 78, but forecasting the Blizzard of 78. I remember talking to a local meteorologist, Harvey Leonard, and of course, for those of you folks that live in Boston and New England know Harvey. He was at Channel 7 for many years, now at Channel 5. But, we talked on the phone for hours at a time, days at a time, and we just had a couple of the computer models, and we say, "Oh my goodness, can you believe such and such is looking like this?" And we get a hurricane force winds. We had a new moon. The tides are going to be just devastating. Of course they were, because there was so much flooding along the eastern shore of Massachusetts, with winds gusting over like 90 miles an hour between Hull and Chatham, and record high tides, and between the flooding and the amount of snow that fell. And this was before the technology of cell phones, so people got stranded on the highway and they couldn't reach anybody and they had to get dug out. Right. But now we can warn people. I don't think that kind of storm would ever happen again like that without being forewarned.
Yeah,
that's the big thing now, is that you can get the warnings out, to help people in catastrophes, for be it tornadoes or serious weather.
Because we live, and I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. We live in a microwave kind of society. Because you have an instrument like a cell phone and you can just tap and get instant gratification, people think that, come on, guys that are doing the weather, you always have to be right. And they don't applaud you when you're right, but they certainly come down on you when you're wrong. How could you be wrong? Give me my exactness all the time. And it's not like that, but people don't want to hear that. So that's something we have to do.
Wow, isn't that the truth? All right, Shannon and I are going away this weekend, and I know you probably can't stretch far down as the Philadelphia area, but because we have you here in the studio, and you are a meteorologist, we're going to put you on the spot here, and we really just need the forecast for the weekend. What do you got for us?
So what do you got for Philly?
Yeah.
Okay, so when are you going?
We're leaving Friday. Friday to Monday-ish.
It's the Poconos region,
actually. Yeah, Poconos region.
Okay, so, the Poconos, okay. Well, it's going to be pretty warm Friday. It'll be partly sunny and hot. There's a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm. It'll be probably 85 to 90. Same deal on Saturday. The front's probably going to wash out right on top of you. And by Sunday, high pressure builds in all levels of the atmosphere. It's sunny and hot, near 90 and rather muggy. And, Monday there could be a shower, thunderstorm. Otherwise, it's sun and clouds. It's 85 to 90. I think what's happening now, there's been a cool shot in the Northeast a little bit. That's going to lift out. A big ridge of high pressure is going to build along the East Coast. And I think as we get into mid-August and beyond, summer's really going to come back. Ooh. So people think, it's late, it's mid-August, summer's over. It's not over.
I can work on my tan finally.
That's right. Isn't that cool, Shannon?
There's no end.
Isn't that cool? Isn't it? That's really that's the only way to get the weather, right? Right from the source.
No, so I think it'll be warm for the balance of the month, and I think we'll have a lot of warm days in September.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, Mark, before we wrap up with you, where can folks find you? I know you have a lot going on, not only touring the Boston area doing karaoke, but you actually do have a Weather Blast network that you have going, and you are doing stuff online. So if folks are looking for that information and how to find you, where can they do it?
It's very simple. If you want to check out my forecast, it's weatherblast.com. Weatherblast.com. I also do many radio stations in New England, and I do weather for BostonHeraldRadio.com.
Nice.
But go to my site. We have a lot of fun, and we update the forecast, and we have some video, and it's just it's a fun, friendly thing, and I'm always on top of the weather 24/7. I give it my best shot. I think I'm a pretty good forecaster, but when I'm wrong, I suck like some of the other people.
Yeah, the good thing is, people aren't afraid to tell you when you do. That's the thing, right?
That's a good thing. You always got to be, leveled out and put in your place, right? It's all about the yin yang. You got to balance everything out, like.
Very true. Very true. All right,
Shannon, something before I let you go, you have to make me some brownies or something, because I love that cake that you made.
Well, we can put stuff in the brownies to make you much happier. So,
Would you?
Yeah, we got marshmallows, chocolate chips. We can talk.
I mean, I don't want to see your place go to pot. You just
I wasn't talking about that, but yeah, actually, I make them the very big. We're known for our huge brownies.
Are you really?
Yeah, and they're to die
so
for.
Addicting.
It's all about undercooking them. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, just don't make them.
I bet you everybody in central Massachusetts wants to come to your place.
They all do. They want to. They just don't. So we need to get them to do that. So we're working on that.
It's a great reason to do a lot of new promotion and tell everybody what you got.
Yeah. No. Now that I know you like brownies, if you don't have any food allergies, next time we get together, I think Jeff's going out there to meet you soon. So we can make that work.
All right. Okay.
I know a guy.
All right.
She knows a guy that knows a guy that maybe that could make a delivery.
Just talking about brownies. What?
They told two friends, and so on and so on. Right? Wasn't that a shampoo commercial?
It was. That was wasn't it Pantene?
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Was Pantene?
Don't something like that.
It was Pantene.
All right.
We'll talk.
Right. Please don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
All right.
Really, it takes me all day to look, by the way, guys.
Well, speaking of which, Shannon has a little segment here that has made her now world famous in over 70 countries, and we'd love to have you hang with us. You got a couple minutes to hang with us?
Sure, absolutely.
This is award-winning, Mark.
All right, guys. When we come back, Shannon Sylvia brings you the Who Does That.
It's been 6 weeks of absence. Stick around.
All right.
Ay, 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 ay. I am the frito bandido. Hey, I like Fritos corn chips. I love them, I do. I want Fritos corn chips. I'll get them from you. Bring it to...
Oh, yeah. When you hear that music, it can only mean one thing. It's that segment of the program when Shannon Sylvia asks, who does that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Shannon Sylvia.
So I know you've missed me. I've missed you too. It's good to be back. At least I have my voice going on for me here. So who does that? If you're new to the show, I find 3 stories across the world. Most of them don't come from Massachusetts. These are stories that ridiculous people do ridiculous things. So that's why it's called Who Does That? The first story is hailing from Sacramento, California. Hopefully our caller from earlier was not Sacramento. Was that Mike?
Yeah, it was Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Such a common name. I get them all confused. Sacramento, California. A Republican lawmaker accidentally cast his party's first that he accidentally supported the bill while opposing it on Facebook.
Wow.
He posted on Twitter, "My wife is right. I cannot multitask."
All right, go through that story one more time because I think we had a little bit of an audio problem.
All right. No sound.
Okay, there you go.
All right, should I start over?
Okay, yep, start it. This is how you know it's live, guys, because when we screw up like this, we just keep it rolling.
I can't edit it.
No.
All right, guys, let's try again.
Okay.
A Republican lawmaker accidentally cast his party's first vote for the California budget in years because he was distracted by Facebook.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. It's not just me.
It's mostly you, but
Assemblyman.
there's two of you.
No, it's not. Men do it too. There's people out there, Jeff. Don't even. Assemblyman Scott Wilk was the sole Republican to vote for California's record $117.5 billion. Okay, not million, not thousands of dollars here. $1 billion spending plan on Monday. The Santa Clarita lawmaker later clarified he accidentally supported the bill in the Capitol while opposing it on Facebook. Like his wife is telling him, "You cannot multitask," is his quote exactly. The California's budget is being negotiated between Governor Jerry Brown and Democratic legislative leaders. They have yet to reach a final deal at the time of this story. Wilkes
Who does that?
I'm still talking. Thank you. We got to get back in the swing of things here, Jeff. Watch the audio clips for like 2 more sentences. Can you wait? Do you have to pee?
Hold on. I'm checking my Facebook. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm wicked sorry. I was distracted, honey. I'm sorry.
You guys are very cute on the air together.
So cute. It's ridiculous.
I was checking my Facebook. I apologize.
Wilkes' blunder won't show up on the official legislative record because the Assembly allows lawmakers to change their votes.
Oh, no.
What if somebody holds a gun to the guy's head after he made a vote in the parking lot, and then he goes back the next day? Yeah, I changed my mind. How's that possible?
No big deal.
I can't even change my bid on eBay once I place it. He did so after the session ended, receiving applause from fellow Republicans and boos from the Democrats.
Who does that?
So now he's paying attention, and so am I. Thanks, honey. What else you got? Are you good? Honey?
What?
Stop checking your Facebook.
Sorry.
All right. Come on.
All right. New York man says fortune teller scammed him out of $700,000. Awesome. A New Yorker did this. New York man who sought help from a fortune teller to fix a romantic relationship. Usually girls do this stuff.
Yeah, this is weird.
Awesome to hear that a guy had that much money, first of all. Second of all, would spend it on an ex.
Yeah.
The New York man who sought help from a fortune teller to fix a romantic relationship says she scammed him out of more than $700,000.
$700,000.
Who's the dick here? Who's the dick here? Is it really her?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I mean,
oh my God.
Now the allegations have the Manhattan psychic named Priscilla Del Maro and another person facing charges of grand larceny. A 32-year-old Brooklyn man told police that he consulted Del Maro in August 2013, who told him the evil spirits were keeping him from a woman he claimed to love and wanted to be with who did not share his same affections. Wow. Newsflash, if you're his ex-girlfriend and he had $700,000 to lose on this, you're a loss, okay?
Wow.
Sorry. So in a statement, he and a private investigator presented with detectives said the man said that the 26-year-old psychic told him that he and the woman, Michelle, were twin flames being kept apart by negativity. Spirits were talking to her, so he made multiple payments to her over 20 months. Yes, people still do this.
Wow.
Payments included $80,000 for an 80-mile bridge she wanted to trap evil spirits into another realm with.
Okay.
She needed a bridge. $30,000 Rolex.
Because it just takes a bridge.
I have no desire for a Rolex. It would cleanse the sins of his past.
Oh my!
And a $40,064 Tiffany diamond ring to protect his energy.
Wow.
Totaling $713,975. Ladies, this man's from the Bronx. I'll give you his name if you email me privately. Let's go find him and prevent him from doing this again.
Who does that?
All right. Final story of the week. They say fortune favors the bold, but not for a Christian fam. Maybe it was just in the cards. Fam, 40 years old, accidentally signed up for the wrong event in the World Series of Poker recently.
No way.
Only realizing his mistake after he had been dealt his first cards of hands, and it was too late to unregister. Despite having never played the game before, he ended up winning the event and took home $81,314. Are you effing kidding me? I am in the wrong business.
God. Wow.
I thought I had registered for the $1,500 limit hold'em, he says. Had never played poker in his life. Blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short. The Chris Mecklin, the player at Fam's table, was quoted as saying he initially suspected that he was lying. Fam was lying about being new to the game because poker face and all.
Wow.
Guy ended up walking away a winner.
Oh, my God.
Now he says he loves the game.
Who does that?
Wow.
Holy crap.
That's unbelievable.
And that's not a stupid story. That was just too phenomenal. I had to share it. Sometimes I do that just to keep things positive because we were brought down by the other two.
And before we go, this just in, the psychic and the ex were just seen in Bali together on their new yacht.
No. She's with the nan. He's with the nanny of the psychic or something.
Is that what it is?
Trust me.
All right, guys, we want to thank our guest, Mark Rosenthal, for joining us. We want to thank all of you for joining us, watching on LATV and also on your handheld mobile devices, reminding you that you can check us out on Facebook. Simply go to facebook.com/Up for Discussion Live. You can also check out our YouTube channel by searching out the PTV Webcast Network. You can check out this show and all of the great shows here on the network. Next week, on behalf of my co-host Shannon and the crew here at LATV, thanks for watching.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
I mean